Namatho Ratana Tayassa. May I pay homage to Triple Zem, the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. My respect goes to my parents and my teachers. Hello, good evening everyone. So today is Wednesday, the 24th of February 2021. This is Ajahn Sujan from Varapunya Meditation Center, Aberdeen, Scotland. So it is now 6:30. I'm here with you all tonight again to share and also to discuss on the teachings of the Buddha. Hello Margaret, hello Anish, hello Pani, John, everyone. So today is a beautiful day with a lovely sunshine and a very warm, lovely day. So temperature is about 10 degrees. So sudden change, but beautiful to have a beautiful weather. And it really wakes everyone up. So this is a beautiful day. I hope you all enjoyed this lovely day. So today again I will be continuing from day before evening talk. That's related to the householder Siriwada, the businessman who was ill, and he sent his one of men to invite the Venerable Ananda to see him, and Venerable Ananda visits day after early morning to see him with the properly wear robes and bowls in his hands, and then asks the Siriwada that how I hope you are bearing up. I hope you are getting better. I hope your painful feelings are subsiding. And then the householder replies by saying that no, do not feel that he is not bearing. He wasn't bearing it. He was bearing it, or he was not getting better, and painful was very strong. And he, the Ananda, who was the attendant of the Buddha, suggests and informed householder Siriwada to practice in accordance with 4 establishment of mindfulness. And then this Siriwada confirms, saying that as to those 4 establishment of mindfulness taught by the Blessed One, these things exist in me, and I live in conformity with these things. So he confirms that he is living and practicing in accordance with the 4 establishment of mindfulness. So Ananda simply reminds him what is the practice. Now this is 4 establishment of mindfulness. Anyone knows what are the 4 establishment of mindfulness? You can type it down before going ahead. And after the Ananda informed householder Siriwada about the 4 establishment of mindfulness, he contemplates in it further on. And further he said that along with the practice of a 4 establishment of mindfulness, he completed the lower 5 fetters: body, feelings, mind, and a Dhamma. Well done, Margaret. I should give you a chocolate. Actually, I have a chocolate here. This chocolate. I should give you a chocolate. That's right. So the establishment of mindfulness is contemplating the body in the body, contemplating the feelings in the feeling, contemplating the mind in the mind, and contemplating the Dhamma in the Dhamma. Well done. So, householder Sirivada also practice in accordance with that, and then he confirms that he remembered them and he contemplates within himself. And with that contemplation, by urgently practicing an ability to comprehend things clearly, he was very mindful at all the time. Doesn't matter what happens, doesn't matter what is coming through his senses, he was able to be mindful of it. And because of that mindfulness, he was living in the present moment, always in the present moment, and aware of everything happening. So his mind was very alert and awake. And with that, he confirms by saying further that these 5 lower feathers taught by the Blessed One, I do not see any of these unabandoned in myself. So basically he's saying that he had managed to abandon the lower feathers. Now this is the feathers. There are 10 feathers. Now remember, 10 feathers. I am going to ask again and again, and maybe I will ask you to write it down too. There are 10 feathers, and it is divided into 2. The first 5 feathers are called the samyojanas, that holds you not to develop. And these feathers, the 5 first feathers, are known as the lower feathers, or orambhagiya, lower feathers. And then 5, the later, the 6 to 10, is known as the higher feather, or uddhambhagiya. And now, in order to understand that who has attained the stream enterer, or a noblehood, and then completely able to eradicate the entire feathers, a person who has attained the arhat, the noble one, has eradicated all these 10 feathers. Now, this Sirivada householder, after contemplating this 4 establishment of mindfulness, he confirms that lower 5 feathers been abandoned completely from him. That means he became one of the noble disciples who has attained one of the 4 noblehoods, and he attained a fruit of non-returner. It's called anagami. Anagami is the 3rd stage of a noblehood. So now there are 4 types of noblohoods, noble disciples. It's called Arya Savakas. And in that 4 types of noble disciples, number 1 is known as Sotapannas. Number 1 is known as Sotapannas, and that means stream enterer. And number 2 is known as Sakadagami or Sakidagami. That's the 2nd category of a noblehood. The 3rd is called Anagami. The 3rd is Anagami, and the 4th is Arahat. And among these 4 different types of noble disciples, Sotapanna, the first level, Sotapanna has eradicated or abandoned the 3 lower feathers, and that is the sakkāya-diṭṭhi, vicikicchā, sīlabbata-parāmāsa, which means giving up, ability to giving up or abandon the view of a personality view, or the false view of an individual, that me and mine exist. So that's the first one. And vicikicchā is doubt about the reality that taught by the Buddha. And then the 3rd is that the sīlabbata-parāmāsa, not believing that any rituals or performing any rituals would take you to the liberation. But having said that, the rituals are important to sustain and maintain the teachings of every religion. So that's why every religion has got the rituals and the ceremonies, so that the normal common people can join and be part of it, and gradually they absorbs the teachings, and gradually they will walk on the path to the path that the religious leader had instructed. Similarly, in Buddhism as well, there are certain rituals that we have to follow in order to maintain and confirm our faith. And meanwhile, you are practicing in accordance with it. But once you have attained the sotapanna, the entry, the stream enterer, at that moment, you do perform some rituals and ceremonies, but you have no belief that performing those ceremonies will help you to walk in the path to the liberation. Your action makes you to walk in the path to the liberation. So that's how you will attain the first noblehood, called sotapanna. Yeah. So remember, there are 4 types of noblohoods. Number 1 is a sotapanna, the stream enterer. Number 2, sakkāya-diṭṭhi, 7 times returner. And then the anagami, non-returner. And then the arhat, the complete destructed, a person who has destructed all the asavas. And here the 10 fetters are the measures to judge, or measures to measure yourself, that which state you are in. And then the second noblehood, which is called a sakkāya-diṭṭhi. In this sakkāya-diṭṭhi level of a noble person, had eliminated or abandoned the 3 feathers as this first noble stream enterer had done. And meanwhile, he is able to minimize the further 2 feathers, and that are called kāmaraga and patigga. Kāmaraga is a sensual lust. Yeah? Sensual lust. And the second is repulsiveness or irritation or anger. So even the sakkāya-diṭṭhi, the second level of noblehood, they still have this not abandoned the sensual lusts and anger or irritation. They still have some degree of it. So that's the second level. So the first 3 feathers been completely abandoned, and then another 2 feathers been minimized, lesser, and have realized it but haven't abandoned it yet. And a third level of a noblehood, called anagami, or a non-returner, as this upasaka, this householder Sīlabbata had attained. He attained the non-returner. That means he was able to abandon all these 5 feathers. That's number 1 is sakkāya-diṭṭhi. Number 2, vicikicchā. Number 3, sīlabbata-parāmāsa. And number 4, kāmaraga. And number 5, patigga. In English term, ability to abandon the sense of I, me, mine existence or personality view. And the second is a doubt on the teachings that leads to the liberation. And the third, not believing that rituals will take you or will liberate you. And number 4 is having essential, not having essential lusts, kāmaraga. So abandoned kāmaraga means to abandon the sensual lusts. And then the last one is the abandon any irritation or anger. So a person who hasn't got these 5 lower feathers is known as the non-returner. Now you can check yourself. How many qualities do you have, or how many qualities do you possess? Yeah? And if you are possessing about above than 3 qualities, then you are already Sotapanna, the noble one. I am not yet. Okay? I am not yet. So these are the qualities to check yourself, that how much you have realized the Dhamma and how much you have attained, and in which level of noblehood you are in. So once again, remind you, there are 4 types of noblehoods: the Sotapanna, the extreme enterer, the Sakadagami, the second time returner, and then non-returner, not returning to the human world, and then the last one is Arhat, the one who has completely destructed or abandoned all the feathers. Oh, you're perfect, really good. Margaret, you're good. Okay, and then to attain the first Sotapanna, the extreme enterer, one has to abandon the personality view and the doubt, and then not believing that the rituals will liberate. That's the first 3 feathers that he has to overcome. And the second level, Sakadagami, one has to overcome or abandon all those 3 first feathers, and lessening or minimizing the 2 other feathers, that is kāmaraga, which is sensual lust, and then the last 5th one, patigha, the irritation. Whereas the non-returner has completely abandoned all 5 feathers. Yeah, you are perfect. In your own way. Don't worry. We are working on the path to the perfecting ourselves. Yeah, we are walking on the path to perfect ourselves. And every ways we are perfecting one or another. Okay. So and this Siddhivada attained the 3rd category of a noblehood. Yeah? And now you can write it down. How many types of noblehoods are there? Okay. And then the further 5 higher feathers, or known as the uddhacca, the 5 further higher feathers, one who has abandoned is known as arhats. And number 1 is rūparāgo, and it's attachment to form realms. So that means after you have after the destruction of this human body, attaining or reborning in the human in the form realm of a form, form realm, and that's again it's quite a high. Actually, that's quite a high. And then the second one is arūparāgo. It's attachment to the formless realms. And then uddhacca, and there is a restlessness, no restlessness and distractions at all. Now, remember, don't worry. When you're meditating, having distractions, think about it. Even the arahats, until the arahat time, there is a distractions at all the time. The moment when you have attained the arahat, the noblehood, complete destructions of all the asavas, then you have fully overcome all the distractions. Sotapanni, Sakadagami, Anagami, Arhat. Oh, that's really good. You remember. Anish, you remember 4 types. And Margaret, you remember all the names. Well done. What about the Sotapannas? And how many qualities or how many feathers that they have to abandon for the Sotapannas? Yeah? And then here in the higher feathers, further on is māna and avijjā. So conceit and pride also have to be abandoned. And then the ignorance, or basically avijjā. The moment when a person has abandoned the thought to be reborn in the form realm, rūpa loka and arūparāgo, the formless realms, then also ability to abandon all the distractions, very clear mind, very alert mind. Then with that very clear and alert mind, he also will be able to overcome the conceit, overcome this pride, sense of a prideness, and then having a wisdom. Yes, Margaret, there are 10 feathers, but to be a sotapanna, how many feathers one has to overcome, or abandon. And the sotapanna will abandon 3 feathers. Sakkāya-diṭṭhi abandons 3 feathers and then lowers the 2 other. And anagami, one who has abandoned all 5 lower feathers. And arahats abandon all 10 feathers. Okay, so what are the 3 feathers that the sotapanna overcomes? Okay, so right like that. Sorry. And Siddhivada also able to abandon lower 5 feathers. And then according to the scripture, it suggests that a person who has attained the anagami, or a non-returner, he will reborn in the suddhavasa. So very high, higher the sensual realms of the heaven. It's called suddhavasa. And they will reborn in that realm, or the heavens, and then from there they will attain the arhat. And in the meanwhile, suppose they were listening the Buddha's teachings as a devas in the suddhavasa, and then they attain the anagami in that realm, then they will come to the human earth, and then in the human earth they will attain the arhat, and that's how they will be fully enlightened one. Yes, right? Sotapanna has to abandon all the 3 first feathers. And what are they? What are they? Okay. And this anagami people, anagami noble beings, will reborn in the suddhavasa. It's called the heaven, the suddha, the pure heaven, pure abode of the heavens, one of the highest heavenly realms in the sensual world. Okay? And that is the state that the Siddhivana he was able to attain. And then obviously he will be not reborning back into the human world, because he attained this non-returner in the human world, and he will be reborning spontaneously, spontaneously in the suddhavasa. Similar story, the second sutta is on the māna dinna, another householder who was also very ill, and then he was also, he also sent a messenger to the Venerable Ananda, and Venerable Ananda visits him, and similar conversation. And this householder, māna dinna, also confirms that he contemplate on the 4 establishment of a mindfulness, which is the body, feeling, mind, and dhamma, and he also attains the non-returner. So basically, ability to one who has abandoned the 5 lower feathers, and that's how Ananda also confirms that these 2 disciples have attained the non-returner. That's right, Anish. So a sotapanna person would abandon those 3 fetters, that is a sakkāya-diṭṭhi, which means the personality view, vicikicchā. Although the wordings are not correct, but readable, it's okay. Yeah? Vicikicchā is a doubt, so overcome any doubts in the teachings, and sīlabbata-parāmāsa is basically believing that or confirming that merely rituals one will not attain the liberation. So one has to practice, and in accordance with the practice and putting an effort, one will gain the enlightenment. So that is the three first feathers that one has to overcome to be the first noblehood, the stream enterer. And the second, sakadagami, one who has abandoned all these three feathers and also lessen the two further feathers, that is the sensual lust and patigha, the irritation, irritation or the anger. Whereas non-returner, the last one, anagami, who is a non-returner, one has attained the all five feathers and completely abandoned from his mind. And a person who has attained the anagami will only reborn in the suddhavasa, and that there, from there he will be suddhavasa, heaven, and from there he will attain the enlightenment, arahat. So like that. So with this, I think I have given you all these four noble hoods and then 10 feathers. So I hope that you can check yourself that how many feathers you have abandoned and which level you are in. Like the Sirivaddha and Māna dinner, they have abandoned the 5 lower feathers and became the non-returner. So it is quite a bit of information. I hope that you can remember and keep in your mind, so that tomorrow if I am asking, then you can reply me back as quickly as possible. So with this, I end here for tonight's reflection and this reading the discourse, and may you all be well and happy. May the Buddha Dhamma Sangha bless you, and in a few moments time we are going to have the evening chanting and guided meditation, and you are most welcome to join with us. Until then, good night and see you shortly.